I'm here to share with you today how I found out that I am actually a superhero. I know, right? I was surprised too. I mean, it's not like I can leap tall buildings in a single bound like Superman, but I am a supermom. And I believe that there's a lot more supermoms out there. They just haven't found their superpowers yet. But all superheroes have a backstory. I love baking. So when I had kids, I couldn't wait to teach them how to whip up sweet treats in the kitchen. Now, admittedly, baking with my two sons can get a little bit chaotic and messy. Their attention spans are as short as their legs, and they believe that sprinkles belong on everything. Last year, we decided to make these cute little reindeer cookies off of Pinterest. This is what ours turned out to be. You know what I'm talking about. Now, the sad thing is, I felt a lot of pride and was elated with our homemade quirky-looking cookies until I decided I needed to compare our cookies to the ones on social media, where I decided they were mediocre at best to downright ugly at worst. An entire afternoon's joy of baking with my two little boys was zapped by these photos on social media. But it's not just my cookies. Here is an example of the perfect family Christmas photo. And here's what happens when we take ours. Yeah. Now, it's not, I'm not alone. I mean, hasn't anyone ever heard of hashtag Pinterest fail? Now, with all of this evidence of utter disaster before you, you might be questioning my proposition that I am a supermom. But I challenge you on this. What is a supermom? Who is she anyways? Women have always worked outside the home. But it wasn't until World War II that we began entering workspace arenas that had been previously reserved just for men. And in great numbers, too. Now, this trend increased in the 1970s, whereupon this paragon of the supermom emerged. She was a woman who could do it all, and she would do it with a smile on her face. She worked outside the home, and when she was home, she cooked, she cleaned, she arranged social calendars. She made sure the entire family was well-fed and presentable. She never left the house unless she looked absolutely fabulous. She worked really hard for her boss, and she made her husband happy too. Now, feminists said we could and should have it all. So it's no surprise that this ideal supermom was placed on a pedestal for all women to emulate and for little girls to strive toward. I am a child of the 70s, so the supermom ideal was firmly entrenched in my psyche. One day I would grow up to have it all, and I would be great. In 2016, it seems almost trite to say that women are a force. We have degrees, we're high achieving, we work in many professions alongside men, often in equal numbers. Because of all of the hard work of feminists before us, we have more options in and outside of the home than ever before. So why is it that so many women feel, dare I say it, inadequate? I'm a former lawyer turned entrepreneur and a full-time stay-at-home mom to two little boys. Despite my 2 degrees and accomplishments, I often feel inadequate. And I'm not alone. I've talked to many women from all walks of life, and more often than not, my sentiments are echoed in our conversations. We feel this intense pressure to be everything to everyone at all times, and when we're not, we feel guilty. Why is this? Now, the risk of biting off more than I can chew. Do you remember those cute little reindeer cookies? I think that my feelings of insecurity and failure surrounding those cookies are symptomatic of a pervasive and deeper problem in our society, one that suppresses our superpowers. In an age where photos of a new mom pumping breast milk as she runs a half marathon are splashed all over Facebook, and Pinterest screams at us how to plan and execute the perfect cocktail or 6-year-old birthday party, what is a woman to do? Social media has raised the bar for the wannabe supermom even higher. This tendency to compare ourselves to the publicly reported experiences of everyone we've ever had occasion to meet is ruinous to our self-esteem and really zaps all joy out of life. Now, I understand, with social media and the internet a very common and regular part of our daily lives, it's easy to lapse into this habit of comparing ourselves to literally the world. It's no longer enough to keep up with the Joneses down the street. We also have to keep up with Sally from high school and everyone else we've ever accepted into our circle of friends. What were once messy, joyful, unique life experiences are now banal, trite, done a million times over and done better by someone else. And we have Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, or some other social media platform to prove it to us. And if we do feel a sense of joy or accomplishment, there seems to be this compulsion to snap a smartphone photo, slap some sort of filter on it, concoct the perfect pithy post, and share it with everyone. And moreover, if we don't get that outward validation immediately bestowed upon us, like, then somehow the events must have been a failure, and the memory becomes virtually meaningless. Julie Spira, who has written a lot about online etiquette, has coined a new phrase for this: social media anxiety disorder. Now, although it's not currently considered a medical condition, I think we can imagine how one day it might be accepted as one, especially when we think of the fact that in a survey of 7,000 mothers across the United States, 42% of respondents, 42%, indicated that Pinterest causes them anxiety. See, it's not just me and my cookies. Social media platforms allow us to share our lives both instantly and widely, and that can be a good thing. But it seems to me that they've evolved into this way to share sugar-coated, fantastical versions of our lives. No one's sharing their whole story. They're fake, a facade, revisionist history. The fascinating thing to me is that I think we all suspect that this is the case, and yet we still feel this need to live up to some social media ideal. Do you know what reality is? My house looks like a Lego beast vomited everywhere. My boys need a bath, and so do I. And last night we had white pasta with butter and cheese again for the 10th time this month, because you know what? I am exhausted and I'm tired of having the please eat your vegetables argument. But I would never share this on social media. I fear being judged. I wouldn't be living up to those images of smiling, vacationing families who go on long hikes with their kids without tears or temper tantrums. No, I can't share this because I'm a supermom, remember? I got this. It seems to me that this constant comparison with others online is like death by 1,000 cuts. These fleeting online interactions are eating at our sense of self-worth, and they really dig at the heart. It is said that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I don't think that social media platforms, the way they are now, are actually the meeting space that we supermoms need. But fear not. There is still hope. Because, oh, well, yeah, there we go. We all are superheroes. And we all have superpowers. And among them, we have the powers of discernment and the power of choice. We can choose to use social media and the internet for good, not for evil. We can choose to reject some outward, idealized notion of womanhood, motherhood, personhood. We can break the habit of the constant comparisons with people online. We can choose to recreate offline community and support one another. And we can ensure that social media anxiety disorder does not become the next medicated psychological disease. Now, I said at the outset that I would share with you how I found out that I'm a supermom. So here goes. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And in many ways in my life, this has not been a really healthy thing. So I make a very conscious effort with my two boys to instill in them the knowledge and belief that perfection does not exist. One night, not long ago, as I was putting my sons to bed, I was revisiting the day with my older son. And we agreed that his behavior had not been stellar. And I said to him, look, I don't expect you to be perfect. I just ask that you do your best. I'm not perfect. I can admit that. And he said to me, well, Mama, you're perfect in one way. Being a little afraid what might pop out of his mouth, I said, how's that? Your love for me is perfect. It's in moments like these that I do believe I'm a supermom. My life may not be Pinterest or Facebook perfect, but I'm a hero to at least one little boy and his younger brother. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, then perhaps we should all start looking at ourselves through the eyes of our children and our loved ones, rather than these distorted goggles of social media. I think it's time I made myself a new cape. I bet you Pinterest has the perfect pattern.